Alright. What the hell's going on, everybody? We've got ourselves another matchup between two legends of the game. Dark, the highest prize earner in 2024 out of the Korean scene, in the top left side of the map, a stat that I just found out. MAXPAX on the bottom right side as well. I was watching Hero Marine's video about his future of his career and planning. He was kind of looking at the prize money breakdowns of the players, and I was like, oh damn, I didn't even realize Dark was the #1 Korean player. It was obviously crazy to see the prize difference between Clem, Cyril, and everybody else. I think it was 2024, Clem made over $500,000 and Cyril made, I think, 350K, and then you had Dark coming in next at like 150,000 in prize money. Just goes to show how dominant those two are over the circuit. Maru and a bunch of others not too far behind Dark in the Korean scene. And then, of course, it went down from there. But very, very fascinating video from him as Dark goes for the gold base. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Gold base on Neon Violet. I think this map's garbage for Zerg, but who knows? Maybe the gold base can change my thoughts on that. The big problem with this map is MAXPAX only has to defend one choke point. He's got a free base in the back that gives 2 gases, which is, of course, really useful as a Protoss player who's not as mineral dependent as some of the others. Obviously, if you're playing heavy Stalker, only having 4 minerals kind of sucks. Heavy's, but if you're more focused on getting early Storm, things where you can really spend your gas, I think it works out a-okay. Now, it is going to be a hatch gas pool for Dark. MAXPAX didn't scout at all, so have we got the sound turned off? Yeah, I was going to say, why aren't these things making noise? There we go. So, no scout for MAXPAX. You're going to do Adept, Oracle. Probably not going to chrono Adept. He might chrono 1, just because he has no vision at all, right? And then when he goes across, he's going to go, oh, where's your expansion? Maybe stumble upon the gold, but he'll figure it out when he sees how late this expansion is. By the time the Adept arrives, that expansion will probably not even be finished. So 2 queens on the way now. How many drones are we transferring? 6 to immediately get some good gold mineral mining going. And notice how Dark's not building Zerglings, which I actually love. I really love that. He starts the Overlord now in the main base, Ling Speed in the main. And you're going to notice he's going to try and optimize or prioritize building drones out of this base where they can rally straight to these gold minerals. So he might even manually select this hatchery separately from the main one. As we said, no chrono boost on those adepts. Why? Because it's a big, easily defensible map. In MAXPAX's mind, he's playing against the normal opening. He figures, I run up this ramp, there'll be 2 queens waiting for me. I'm not going to get much done. Dark now getting ready to take that 3rd base. I love that, it's always these maps where I think this map's garbage for Zerg, because how do you ever break a Protoss when you've got to attack through a single choke? Protoss can take a 4th up here, still pretty easy to defend that. It's a giant map. It's hard to win. But if you can get the economic momentum, if you can go for Mutalisks, maybe a big mass Muta play could upset MAXPAX. Nidus Worms, obviously just hitting a crisp enough lurker timing. Lurkers don't mind attacking into choke points, so perhaps just rushing to lurkers is another way to say, well, if I get a bit ahead of you on my way to lurkers, I'm not running straight into like Storm or Carriers or something like that, then should be okay. Now he sees what's going on, he's like, okay, all right, buddy. How dare you take that gold base so early. Dark's done really well with his Zerglings here, just dancing in and out, and the Adept should not be able to take anything. So, 1 Adept at home, 1 Adept shades backwards after taking a bit of damage. First Oracle's on its way across the map, 2nd one's on the way. 2nd gateway in the wall off as MAXPAX moves forward. He's going to take the low ground 3rd. Interesting. It is easier to defend this from the ground, it's just it can get harassed from the high ground a little bit, but I think as a Protoss player, that's not that big of a concern. Wow, Oracle dives through the queens. He's going to get 2 drones. Takes a lot of damage for it, though. Dark's still got 12 workers on the gold, so I think he's okay with that damage. His Zerglings thinking about poking in here. Not really going to find anything. Even the Adept can probably shade forward to deal with that. A few more Zerglings poking over as the Oracle goes into the main base. Spore Crawler oddly placed in this main. It's very far in the rear. Double gas comes up on the natural after that 3rd. MAXPAX really doesn't feel like he's worried about the gold base. He's just doing normal things. Now, Dark's going to transfer workers and take a 4th at the same time. So Dark's really trying to get ahead of the curve on the greed. +1 melee as well. If he can go straight Lingbane Hydra off this, he's just going to swarm MAXPAX with an overwhelming number of units. Oracle has to come back. 2 Zerglings, maybe 3 for an Adept. Great trade there for Dark. Dark all over this early game. And MAXPAX trying to play solid, trying to play defensive. But I definitely feel like Dark is doing what he needs to make this a very stressful opening match for MAXPAX. Dark, has he got a lair started? No lair just yet, and that's where problems could arise. There we go. Lair comes up on the gold for 4 minutes 50. Well, he better defend that gold base. And he's got good creep. He's already got 3 tumors out. As long as he spreads this creep out front, he should have some decent angles. Oracle's going to kill a few of those Zerglings as they try and move in. And of course, we know it's Blink +1. 3rd and 4th gateway about to finish and transform. 5th and 6th gateway on the way. So 6 gate Blink. Very standard play for MAXPAX. And for me, the big question is, how does Dark finish the game? Because I don't know if Hydras are even going to be able to overwhelm this. I mean, yeah, there's some big open areas, but it takes a while to get across the map. Storms are going to be good. Stalkers with good micro can be very good at delaying. Oracles come forward, delay some creep there. Tries to get another one. That's a bit greedy. MAXPAX loses his Oracle for it, and that's super costly, dude. Lings are going to come in, but with the shield battery, not worth committing there. If you had like 30 Zerglings with +1, sure, but just about 12, not going to be worth. Extra hatcheries going down, guys. Oh my gosh. 5th and 6th hatchery going down for Dark. His work account's not that high just yet. He's still only even with MAXPAX. And I really feel like he'd love to get that count a bit higher, but no Spore in this base. And, I mean, it's good that he's keeping MAXPAX busy, but MAXPAX still building new Oracles, making Stalkers. And I think Dark, yeah, pausing on 66 drones to mass Zerglings is an excellent idea. His scouting's a bit limited. Finally, he comes in, seeing that wedge of gateways. He's got to go, okay, I'm a little worried. No 4th base in the back. This is where Dark has to realize, okay, just do not make drones. Just make army. Nothing but army. 18 more Zerglings are on the way right now. Perfect choice for Dark. Dark goes in, realizes he's not playing hero. There is a unit in the wall off. So the anti-hero counterattack, not going to work there. 29 more Zerglings coming out. Now this area, the Skibbity Forest, very hard for Zerglings to get surface area, as it's going to obstruct them. You want to fight in the open, but that's why MAXPAX is hanging out in that area. Now don't get me wrong, your own units do get kind of scattered and in a bit of a weird formation. It's something that Dark's going to need to respect. Stasis Trap on the backside. Great blink back micro for MAXPAX. Dark's got to be careful about how he fights into this. He just traded a lot of Zerglings for a single Stalker. And he's really got to respect this. He's got 40 more Lings out, but a lot of them are just chilling at home. They're not coming. Oh my gosh, a lot of his Lings weren't on his control group. Guys, he just threw away 30 Zerglings for 1 Stalker. This is not good. Not good first fight for Dark. Not a good first fight for Dark. He's had momentum here. And if he can overwhelm it, he can crush MAXPAX in this game, because MAXPAX is going 8 gates. MAXPAX is committed to a 3-base Stalker Zealot push. You've just got to hold on here as Dark. Hydras are now coming out. They do have Groove Spines. That's going to make a massive difference. If he can swing around, though, with a flank, that's what he would ideally be doing. Now, you can see here, Gateway is coming up on that base, guys. Proxied on the front. 4th base goes down on the gold behind it. MAXPAX trying to wear him down with Stalker Zealot micro. Dark coming forward, doesn't set off the stasis traps, though. That's something we've seen Serral do way better than Dark, and that's one of those small difference makers. Is you'll notice the number of times Serral comes in with a flank of 2, 3, 4 Zerglings at most. Dark is often getting 10, 12 Zerglings frozen per stasis trap, and it creates a bit of like a blocking set of units that stops the rest of the Hydraling getting on top. Despite that, Dark's numbers cannot be denied. He stayed at 69 workers, so he's not at a massive work account, but that gives him instead a huge investment in army. He's got Groove Spines finished. Muscular Augments, that is the movement speed for the Hydras, almost done. +2 melee for the Zerglings, and the Baneling speed. Now, you guys know my thoughts. I do think +1 range would have been a much better upgrade than +2 melee normally, but in this scenario, it's still mostly Stalkers, and you're still on a pretty heavy Zergling army with Banelings coming in. I really do believe that in this case, +2 melee is okay. He's already queuing range afterwards. The Ling's getting great damage. Dark's pushing him back. Dark hasn't got rid of the gateway yet, but he's killing so many Stalkers that suddenly the units lost tab is not looking so bad. Only down 800 resources, which is perfectly fine for a Zerg in this sort of game. And here we go, Stalkers coming forward. Now, the Banelings don't really serve a function, I would say. Right, they're not great against the Stalkers. They're there if a Zealot Warp-In comes in, that's when they'll find themselves effective. Speaking of which, gets a few decent Banelings there and does do a lot of damage on those. Doesn't quite clean up the Zealot Warp-In, but does some decent damage to it. Now, Dark, he's still roaming in the middle. I'd love to see him pull back, clean up the gateway, and then push this gold base. I don't think MAXPAX can defend the gold. MAXPAX blinks forward there with a hero-esque maneuver. Loses a few Stalkers, and that's going to cost him big time. Banelings go towards the workers, realize there's actually not many there to blow up on, and instead the attack on the front is going to be more useful. 80 Zerglings reinforcing. Oh my gosh. Remember, guys, Dark has like 7 hatcheries right now. He's just got such good production. He's actually injecting pretty well this game as well, by the looks of it, with just how many Lings are flooding in. Nice Zealots in the Skibbity Forest, intercepting the Zergling rally, but your Stalkers are being broken, you're being overwhelmed, and it looks like Dark here, he just had a great start, And he managed to skip roaches as well as get a gold base up at the start, overwhelmed with the numbers, and especially with one of those oracles dying earlier, and then not having quite as many like stasis traps and lasers overhead to help guard his Stalker push, MAXPAX not able to keep up. He's just getting overrun. Didn't take too much finesse on the engagements for Dark. He was able to just kind of headbutt it. Now, to be fair, he's been A-moving into these Zealots, and they're actually killing an insane amount. Dark is just staring at the front and F2 A-moving. He is not dealing with the Zealots at all. He's literally not diverted a single unit. Dark, I love that he won this game decisively. I have to worry about his multitasking a little bit. Those Zealots, let's click. 8 kills, 7 kills, 6 kills, 8 kills. These Zealots killed like 80 Zerglings. Like, remember there was like 6 or 7 or 8 of them before. I think it was 8, right? If we go back a little bit, man, I gotta check these guys. Yeah, 6 kills. Oh my god, they're so... Yeah, these guys just were butchering. If we keep going back, from here, they're just killing Zergling after Zergling, like 1 or 2 at a time. These Zealots were so efficient, man. Oh my god, the Zerglings aren't even fighting their own move command. Oh no. Dark truly was tunnel vision on the front there. GG, well played though. Great game 1 victory for Dark. Takes a map that I thought was super Protoss favored. And he really says, hey, if you don't mess with my gold base opening, I'm going to get ahead. Great play by Dark. Alright guys, we've got Dark on the top right side of the map. MAXPAX in the bottom left. And a great win in game 1 for Dark. You'll notice MAXPAX sent 2 probes down. 1 to build the 14 pylon, and 1 even before that to block the expansion. Now, this might be a little too late if you're playing Serral, because he might come down and build that as a 14 or 15 hatch, somewhere between 32 and 38 seconds. And you notice that probe's not going to be there in time. However, Dark never sends a drone down ahead of time. He sends it down right at the time when he'll get the minerals to build the hatchery. He sees the probe, builds an extra drone, and he's going to go for the hatch block. Problem is, this is too predictable. Dark, you do this too much. So the he does this way too much. This is his problem. As soon as MAXPAX sees no third, he's going to pull 2 probes to his natural and block the hatchery. He sees no third, he should pull 2 probes right now. At least 1. If he's got to stop the hatchery getting up. So hatchery goes down here for Dark, and you might think, oh, he got it on location. It's very delayed. That is delayed a good 15 seconds, and now he's going to get the hatchery down. Oh, MAXPAX is letting it happen. MAXPAX not trying to block it. It looks like he didn't realize what was happening. And he's going to bring this probe down a bit too late. So the hatchery block will get down, and MAXPAX is going to go for the 2-gate response. Now, I love the 2-gate response. I normally don't see pros do it. Koreans will never 2-gate response. They will just pull probes from the main, pull off gas, except for a single worker on gas, pull 4 to 5 probes, maybe 6, and attack the hatchery, as well as build a single zealot. And they'll just keep macroing up and then get the Nexus down as quickly as they can. But this response is basically saying, I'm going to counter pressure. Look, I'm going to make it a zealot, maybe 2 zealots, chrono boost 2 adepts across the map, counter attack you, and I'm also going to get the second gas and a Stargate up. So I don't care if this hatchery lasts a long time, because you're going to be dealing with 2 early adepts. Essentially, you're dealing with a 1 base adept oracle pressure, and you went 3 hatchery before pool. Look at how late the spawning pool is, guys. Adept is starting before queens here. So this could be very deadly. Now, is he going to double chrono? Yeah, he double chronos the adepts, and they're going to rally across the map. And he says 1 zealot, 1 probe will clean up this hatchery in good time. 3rd pylon goes down, and of course Stargate at 150 gas. It's going to be later than a Stargate normally would be, but because you're chronoing, double adept across the map, it's absolutely viable. He starts up a 3rd adept. Does he start a 4th one in a moment? Nah, he wants to go for the Stargate. So in fact, does delay that 3rd one. Queen's going to try to build on the front here for Dark. It's a bit of a wild choice. Does it pop in time? You can see the hit points of the hatchery going down, the queen bar going up. Which one's going to get there first? It's going to be very tight. I think with the Zerglings coming out, he could take out the probe and distract him, and that will allow the queen to come out. But look at that. Probe pulls away. Great response for MAXPAX so far. No battery coming up for him, though. Adepts are on the other side of the map. There's no queen at home just yet because he built the queen on the front, which means he didn't even build a queen on the natural. Crazy guy. Lings go in the main. The probes are chasing them right now. It's chaos. Adept shade into the main. Nope, they cancel the shade because the Zerglings are there, but they kill a few of the Zerglings that are popping out. Probes just took out a few of these Zerglings. Queen, she's going to go for a creep tumor behind the natural. The Adept needs to click on that creep tumor. She's defending the creep tumor right now. Adepts inside the main base also picking off Zerglings. Dark gets some damage on them, but they shade away. Back on the other side, creep tumor does barely get focused down. It was about to root itself in the ground, but MAXPAX focuses it. Man, what a chaotic early game this has been. Spore Crawler coming up in the main. That's actually too early for the Spore. Now, he doesn't know that. Dark saw a Stargate. He knew the Stargate's been done for a while. So he built the Spore. But look at his worker count, 19 versus 26. Even though he's on 2 bases versus 1, he doesn't actually, have the money to afford that Spore Crawler. The drones pulling away is a good call here as those Adepts try to shade backwards. Now the Ling's going to go out, try and counter those. 2 more Zerglings build here as a delaying tactic. But I feel like as Dark, you've got to hold that drone key down. Now, he didn't realize there was no money to start the Oracle on time, not to mention MAXPAX being so distracted by all the chaos that he did not start that Oracle. It's only popped at 4 minutes, whilst Dark Spore Crawler finished at about 3:45. So Dark playing exceptionally safe because he fears the Oracle and he realizes spores are necessary, but so supply blocked on 36. Did he even lose an Overlord? He didn't lose an Overlord. Man, that Overlord was really late then. He's got to get these drones out. If he had this natural fully saturated, I feel like those last 7 drones missing on this hatchery is really big for Dark. And that's, if he had that up, fully mining before the natural finishes for MAXPAX, or the natural starts, that's where you get an advantage. But you'll notice right now, MAXPAX, even though his mining is less, because he's long-distance mining, big mineral advantage, but is it enough? Because Dark hasn't started the 3rd hatchery. Dark has way lower tier units. He's only got 2 queens, and there's already a 2nd Oracle out with a 3rd on the way in a Twilight. It's basically, what I'm saying here is MAXPAX is way ahead on the tech. If you don't have a 3rd hatchery to counteract that, you are in big trouble right now as Dark. The Adept Oracle itself could be a game-winning army set. I mean, there's no way you get that 3rd base. Adepts and Oracle's going to fight the Zerglings there. Decent surround for Dark. Does take out 3 of the Adepts, but look at that. Oh, the drones don't quite get the wraparound. The drones do not get the wraparound, and those Adepts going to force them off the line. 3 drones go down. Queen's out front. Get some good damage on the Oracle. The Oracles do go north into the main base. Drones need to pull back. Drones need to pull back. Dark, he's not watching, though. He's going to lose another 2 drones. Drone losses that he cannot afford right now. 2 base Zerg struggling. That being said, he cleans up the Adepts out front. Units lost tab, 600 in favor of MAXPAX. MAXPAX natural is about to finish. And most importantly, he's still got all 3 Oracles alive, which is the most important thing. MAXPAX feels bad about this natural being delayed, 100%, but I think he's done enough counter-aggression to make it viable for himself. Now, it's kind of funny because I thought MAXPAX was about to teach me something. I've been doing this response MAXPAX does for a long time, and I think it's really good at my skill level because the Zergs kind of suck. But whenever I've done it against a really top-level Zerg, I always end up miles behind at this stage. Now, MAXPAX I still think is behind here, but he's close. I mean, I don't even know if he is behind. He's got so much tech. Charge on the way, 3rd and 4th gateway, 3rd and 4th gaslight. He's got so much going for him. I'm really having trouble weighing this game up, guys, because Dark has to spend so many drones killing his own workers, building infrastructure. And this is something you have to always factor in with a Zerg. When Zerg's behind on tech, it feels like, but he's got a 3rd, whatever. It's like, dude, look at his work account. Why is it frozen? It's because he's got to build an Evo, a Roach Warren, 2 gases. Another 3 gases need to go down soon. Every one of those buildings is a dead drone. And this is why Zerg needs to jump their work account ahead of their opponent, because at a certain point, they're going to be eating their own drones to build infrastructure and tech, number 1. Number 2, when they swap to army production, that takes up their ability to build workers. Now, the 3rd Nexus is very slow here for MAXPAX as he tags the natural. And he's going to be going to just charge Archon style. No Forge for MAXPAX as the Evo Chamber starts +1 range. So Dark's going to have a slight upgrade advantage as he starts building a few Roaches. Very necessary for him. Lings on this side do see a Prism coming across the map. It's guarded by the Oracles right now, so I think, yeah, he has to preemptively turn on the Oracles, otherwise those High Templar, very fragile units, will get killed as they're warping in. They're going to morph into Archons. A few Zealots will come forward to meet them, and these Zerglings just going to have to run away. Can't stand punch on with those Zealots. Now, Dark, he's got a good Roach count coming forward, 8 Roaches. I think these extra 7 Roaches, he's got enough to defend, but he needs to go back to droning, because MAXPAX with this pressure is not only clearing creep, forcing a lot of army, he's kind of stopping Dark from droning, and that in itself sets MAXPAX up to get this very late 3rd up and catch up on the probes. And this has been a game of Dark massively delaying the Protoss expansions, and then Protoss desperately trying to get back in a playable situation from there and finding a way to do it, because the work account more often than not has been dead even. And now we've got Immortals on the way, Forge coming in, and you might think, well, the supply's good for Zerg, but, well, it's not really. Not when you're building Roaches. You want to have a much bigger supply advantage. Preferably a worker advantage as well, because Roach Zergling doesn't beat Immortal Archon, If there's no Storm, you can definitely win that situation, but I guess we see Dark's intentions now. Overlord speed's coming in. He doesn't have enough gas for this, though. I think Dark's build sucks. Let me clarify. He's missing a 5th gas. If you don't have a 5th gas, you're not going to be able to make many Ravagers. If you don't have many Ravagers, Sentries are going to be good. Also, it just makes it harder to take down Immortals, Archons, make them spread. And now he drones? Wait, what? Did he cancel Overlord speed? Yeah, he was planning to do a German taxi. Dark keeps changing his mind about what he wants to do. He was going to do a German taxi or 56 workers on 4 gas. Now he's changed his mind. He's taking a 5th gas. I think he'll take a 6th gas, and he's going Roach Hydra. But he's cancelled Overlord speed. He's decided to now finally take a 4th base. It's incredibly late. Dark is prioritizing surprise, and this is sometimes what happens if you feel you can't take your opponent in the late game. You think everything needs to be a surprise. So he's like, he saw me building lots of roaches. Quick, go back to drones. But because you're building those drones only as plan B, they're coming out late. They don't have as much time to work. And this is allowing MAXPAX to build an incredibly frightening army. Now, MAXPAX looks like he's going for a timing attack. So sitting on Mass Ravager Roach Hydra is actually a good play for Dark against this. He's just got to worry about the Zealots coming down the right side. You'll notice that Dark's map vision is very light. He doesn't know about the Zealots. If he can split 8 roaches to deal with the Zealots, and then he's got some roaches there, so I think he knows this is going to happen. And then if he can intercept this out front, should be good. But I think that 4th hatchery is going to go down. You do not want to be put back to 3 base here as Dark. Roaches, Ravagers coming forward. That's a scary number of units. MAXPAX knows it, but his force fields could be deadly. Those Archons will do massive splash. Dark's got to be kiting. He's got to be pulling back. A little slow on the pullback there. Meanwhile, Queens are getting hit by those Zealots on the right side. I really feel like he needed to preemptively pull back those first force fields. Very deadly. They did a lot of damage. The Archons with Guardian Shield do a great job of tanking. 1 Archon goes down, make it 2. The Zealots are still in the natural causing havoc right now. Dude, MAXPAX, he's going to take out the 4th if he clicks on it. He's still kiting in and out. The Oracles are there. There's no anti-air. The drones have to run. 4th base goes down. In the natural, the Queen Hydra finally deals with that. But Dark loses 5 workers, loses his 4th base. And of course, MAXPAX says, hey, I didn't even have a 4th started. I was only on 60 workers. But guess what? I found the damage. I've taken my gases. I'm going to take a 4th base behind this as he moves forward to this frontal one. Add +2, add Storm. And it's always Dark's a bit ahead, and then he can't quite defend the counter pressure cleanly enough. And that's why he's down 1,300 resources. He's going to take the terrible base up front, as is MAXPAX. They're both going for the crappy base. It's easier to defend because it's kind of in the middle area in that regard, but it is exposed from low ground harassment as well. Hydras and Queens going after the Prism. Zealot drop has to pick up, and of course Dark's going to need to leave a few Hydras around his bases to defend any potential future drop. Stasis field on the left side untouched as more Zealots run down the bottom right. Storm's now finished, and there are 5 High Templar gathering energy. One thing I've noticed that's really interesting is I always like to use my energy recharge preemptively, fill up a High Templar so that it gets to max very quickly, fill up another one a minute later. I notice a lot of the pros, they like to hang on to it so they can use it in an emergency. And I think, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because you don't want to be able, he's dropping my main and I want to warp in a High Templar and then energy recharge and use Storm, but I can't do that if I've used it too early. Now, obviously, I think there's arguments for both sides there, but it's just kind of interesting to think about the situations and be a bit more critical about evaluating when to do which one. Queen's in the main, ready to defend the Prism. Spore Crawler there. If it goes left and drops Zealots, though, it's going to be an issue. Dark, up 40 supply. It's mostly Roach Ravager Hydra supply. It's good supply, but ooh, it's a big storm. Army in the north gets cleaned up as well very quickly. Dark, it feels like he's got to make this army supply worth it, and so far, he's eaten some big storms, which is not good for him. Does find a sentry out front, which is nice. Gets a second sentry. Guardian Shield goes down. He doesn't have the numbers, though. The Hydra count getting jumped on by the Zealot Archon. That is always so scary. Oh, High Templar lands a storm, but the Roach Hydra does clean it up. These Immortals are in the open. Up top, a few Roaches and Hydras come forward as well, guys. They're attacking that base. He's going to try and get an Immortal there. If he could take out an Immortal, that would be big. Dark does take out an Immortal. Very nice. Every Immortal sniped is huge. They're such expensive units. They're so hard to grab onto, and Dark creates a bit of chaos. But the Prism, as we mentioned, comes in, does manage to get some damage, 2 drones, and more importantly, a distraction, forcing the army home. But the Prism went down. You can see the Spore Crawler has a kill. It's bleeding, but getting that kill is really important. MAXPAX only on 3 base mining, but he's building a better army than Dark, and Dark now is just making melee on top of his +2 range, and he's going to start the Infestation Pit, but it's plan C, this Infestation Pit, and on only 67 workers, I don't like his position. If Dark was on 80 workers right now, I'd say, okay, he's in a decent spot. He's just got to find a way to wear down MAXPAX's army before too much Immortal Storm gets together. Now we're in a situation where economically they're almost identical, and that's so scary for a Zergon Roach Hydra, because it basically means unless I have a monumental army advantage, I need to catch you out of position. I need you to make a mistake. And we cancelled Overlord speed, so there's no Overlord drop capability. MAXPAX is well spread. Army in the north, army in the south, Stasis Trap Forest, one of the most annoying things to deal with. And you can see it's going to completely stop this army in the south. He has to just run away. Luckily, there's not too many zealots to clean that up. A few zealots in the middle get caught. I do think you could attack from the low ground there. Look at the arc. Great spread of the units from Dark, trying to come in. Zealots finally getting cleaned up there by the Zerglings. And these Hydras are going to come out. Got to dodge the storms, but he's got to also deal with the stasis traps, which he's done a pretty good job of clearing up, but he eats a big storm there. Army in the south pulls back, goes in, goes out, goes in, goes out. Eats a storm in the south. Army in the north, there's no storm left there, but the Hydras are very damaged. Ooh, but remember, energy recharge, it's almost off cooldown, could be coming in soon. Zerglings, really bad against these Zealots. These +2 Zealots are wrecking the Zerglings, and that's where MAXPAX is pulling back Dark's entire army, making him waste a lot of time, a lot of APM. More Zealots coming in that bottom right side as well. The Hydra's finally going to clean this up. These Zealots are just trading well. He does get a Hydra there at the last second. Hydra's here. Going to deny a bit of mining, which is cute. Keeping MAXPAX off that mining is big. His mineral income will be drying up as that goes down. Prism on the right side is still there. Big Roach Hydra army is looking for it. If he moves into that nook, he can kill it. Oh, but he doesn't see it. Dark, if he moved into that corner, he could have killed that Prism, but now the Prism realizes it moves a bit further over the lava. Frenzy on the way. That's right, guys. The nanomuscular swell coming in for those Hydras. We've also got +3 range and the Lurker range. And I think when you've got a Protoss who's barely mining a fourth, doesn't have the gas there, you could absolutely do this with Lurkers. Problem, Dark still on 68 drones with only 500 gas in the bank. What Lurkers is the question. He can only make 6 or so. That's not going to be enough to cut the mustard. It's a giant, similar army supply of Archon, Storm Immortal, 9 Immortal, 6 Archon, 6 High Templar. Unless you can dodge about 7 to 8 Storms, it's just a better army for MAXPAX. You need the Lurkers and you need them desperately. Jumping on this army down here is Dark at the same time as the Zealot drop comes in. Prism just went down to the Queen Hydra on Queen Spore Crawler in the natural. The Zealots got cleaned up on the other side. Nice spready for Dark, but he's got to spread, he's got to spread preemptively. He's way too clumped as Dark. Takes storms on both sides. And Archon falls, but only one for so many Hydras. The High Templar, there's only one High Templar there with 2 storms available. Nice dodge on the north side. But as long as those Immortals are able to pull back, that's always the problem. If MAXPAX pulls back, gets a few more storms up, he's good. But he's MAXPAX, and he knows when he's winning the game. So when my instincts say run away as a Protoss player, preserve your important units, MAXPAX says, you don't understand how far ahead I am. I do, and I'm going to keep pushing. He may be out of storm. And actually, oh god, Hydras, they're going to swell forward. Immortals, Archon starting to drop, but look at that, the counterattack comes in. It took every single bit of Dark's army to make this overwhelm happen. And even though he gets a few of the Immortals on the retreat, it's only a few of them. And is that going to be enough to make up for how much damage he's taking at home? Oracle goes down. Zealots just ripping up his Hydra rally. And look at the supply. Stasis Trap even gets him on the way home. Hydras are popping out and just getting wrecked. That Hydra's actually getting ignored, funnily enough. But look how many Hydras are going down. Even with Frenzy Micro and all this sort of stuff, the Zealots are just trading way too well. And it's been these Zealot counterattacks from start to finish. And you might wonder, you know, so are Prisms and Zealots just too good in StarCraft? Well, when the economy is this similar, yeah. Because your Immortal Storm, you know, is such a long-range army that wants to shoot, pull back, and kind of pepper your opponent down with storms. Zealots don't pair up with that well unless the opponent's a low-level player who just A-moves their Roach Hydra, in which case Zealots will charge in and help. But in a normal fight, the Zealots will disengage from the Immortal Storm. They'll run too far in front, get themselves killed. So you use the Zealots as a way of dumping your minerals into the counterattack force, and he's been so technical. When Dark was attacking the far north and the far south, MAXPAX would just send the Zealots through the middle. When the army would come through the middle, the Zealots would come around the edge. The Prism couldn't get into the main, so it would go and warp in on the top area. He's just been really good with his army movement, and this is the classic PvZ 1-2 punch. When Zerg's on a low-tier army, it's Immortal Storm in a ball goes one way, Zealots go the other way, and of course this is the ultra-advanced MAXPAX version of that, where the Immortal Storm splits into 2 armies, hits 2 sides, and the Zealots hit a 3rd and a 4th angle. Just really overloading his opponent, you know. The Platinum League, Diamond League version is hit in 2 places. The MAXPAX version is hit in 3, 4, 5 places. And Dark just does not have the numbers to hang on. He's a bit too far behind in the supply. And I love that he had this chaotic opening and that sort of stuff. But I do feel, and you know, I've said it before, as much as I love Dark, and I do think he's had a great run over the last year or so, the last couple of years, there are definitely basics of his game. He hasn't improved in a very long time. And I think it was inevitable that you'd have games like this where you kind of do a clever chaotic opening. You really threw MAXPAX into the Chaos Blender. And I think MAXPAX, if you both played as clean as each other, I think he loses this game from this opening. I think he falls quite far behind. But I think MAXPAX just handled the chaotic early game much cleaner in terms of the macro behind it than Dark did, and that's what put him in a good spot. And that's just comes down to the raw, clean, fundamental macro abilities of MAXPAX, whereas I think for Dark, there was probably a point here where he could have built that 36 Overlord a lot earlier. I could be wrong on this analysis, because there's a lot happening in these early games. Keep in mind, 32 out of 42. He loses this hatchery. That's what drops him to 36, which is maybe part of why he doesn't realize. But I guess my point here would be, is this Queen and Zerglings necessary? Like, did this actually help? If he got the Creep Tumor down, I think it would have been great. Because it would have been so annoying for him to clean up. He'd have to build the Oracle, go Revelate. It's not as bad as it used to be fair. Because Revelation only costs half the energy now, and you've got energy recharge. It used to be, if the Oracle comes out and you've already spread the tumor far enough, he might only Revelate one Creep Tumor, and then he's out of energy on the Oracle, can't even harass you. But in this game now, it's like, well, it costs 25 energy. You Revelate the Creep Tumor, and you just go straight across the map and kill drones anyway, which is one of the issues there. So I think MAXPAX with the Adept pressure there, and then splitting Adepts and Zealots home, and look at this, comes in, and I thought this Creep Tumor was 100% gonna get underground. And it had finished the bar, but it just hadn't quite finished sealing itself underground. If he was like a second slower on that, who knows, maybe that's enough to be super annoying. But Dark here doesn't even have a Queen started on his natural. And you can see he's building so many Zerglings, which is necessary. He has to, because there's going to be 4 Adepts on his doorstep soon. But I do think that's a mistake. Spore Crawler, I respect that he built it on time to be safe, but it's actually too early. Because, yeah, if he delayed that maybe just 15, 20 seconds, would have been great. Hard to do that in the heat of the moment. And you can see here, he's still not got an Overlord started. This is a bit of a nasty 36 supply block, and it does take him just so long to get out to that third base. So I think Dark made the early game messy. It's hard to point out any like big mistakes other than that 36 supply block. It's just one of those things where hats off to MAXPAX. Gets the Creep Tumor, defends the multi-prong. At the end of the whole early game, he lost 1 Zealot. And other than that, it was just mining time. This is just sick hold for MAXPAX, man. Nice game to tie up the series. All right, we're tied up 1-1 going on to Amygdala for game 3. Dark on the top right side, MAXPAX in the bottom left. I think Dark's going to be a bit annoyed at this match just because it is a long rush distance and it feels a bit choky when you're attacking the opponent. Until these rocks come down in the middle, feels like it's very hard to break through. I really feel like Dark's success here, and I'm talking about this very Dark-focused comedy. Why are you talking about this from Dark's point of view? Well, number one, guys, he's going to the military sometime in the next couple of weeks. He said early Feb, casting this one on the 1st of February. So, number one, I'm cheering for him there. More importantly, I just think MAXPAX is the better player right now. I think he's very favored against him at the moment. And I think for Dark, you need to have a clean opening on a big map like this. He's going to go take that third. I hate that he lets himself get blocked here. I think this is a very lazy opening for Dark, and it puts him a little behind. I would have loved to see him on Amygdala, send that drone down, go for the 15 Overlord hatchery, but I just don't think that's in Dark's repertoire. I don't think he's learnt the new 15 Overlord build. Shin's been doing, 14 and 15 hatcheries for like a long time, and Dark's never really copied that build order from him either. And it's not bad, it's still hatch gas pool. Hatchery's just about 8 seconds late or something like that. Let's check the exact timing. 26 seconds, so 30 seconds ago from now. 54 seconds for a 17 hatchery. It's a 2 seconds late 17 hatch. It's about 6 seconds late, maybe probably like 7 or 8 seconds later than a 16 hatch. This slows down your first 2 queens, your first 2 injects. So Dark has to be really clean on the rest of his early game and then shut down the Adepts and Oracles as hard as he can while pushing his greed. So if he can get through with no supply blocks and stuff, I think he can do well. The problem is, we're talking about Dark. Dark's pretty much incapable of having a clean early game. And I know people, they make fun of me for, oh, you're always hating on Dark. Why do you hate him so much? It's like, I think sometimes people mistake objective criticism with hating someone, Like, I think that's like a fun thing. I think that's one of the big life lessons I learned, is that if my friend tells me I stink, they don't hate me. They're giving me necessary feedback. Like if you have body odor and you hate someone for telling you have bad body odor, you might have a mindset issue. And I think Dark would be the first to admit his early game's kind of sloppy. But yeah, it's one of those things where if he can have that rare time, when he powers up for like a GSL finals and he just doesn't get supply blocked and just plays the cleanest early game you've ever seen, you know, brings it to Maru in those grand finals. That's the version of Dark we need to see here on Amygdala. And then on a different map, there might be some more cheesy options a bit more available. On this map, I think it's just very hard to find any cheesy value. I do like that the Lings came out kind of late. There are 6 of them, 2 on the other side of the map, 4 coming out here. Delaying them is good because it allows you to squeeze a few more drones out. And Adept Micro, you know, being annoying. Good Micro on the Zerglings. The Adept does shade past into the natural, but with the Queen guarding the main. And a new Queen coming out at the 3rd base as well. That's going to be well timed. Oracle starts to get built. Should be chrono boosted now as he hits 51 energy. Those 2 Lings ran in, though, distracting MAXPAX right now. Adept's running in on the front, though. Uh-oh. There's not many Lings at home, guys. He's got to focus fire the weak Adept. He does change targets to it, but he already loses a drone. He will manage to kill 1 Adept on the other side of the map. The probes do take out the Zerglings. Did he kill any probes is the question. And the answer is no. But good amount of mining time lost. He basically made him completely forget to chrono until now, which means the first Oracle is delayed. That should give him time to build a Spore in the main. But actually, right now, Dark, no Spore. There we go. He's delayed it as long as possible, and I think that's kind of optimal, in fact. Lings are going to run forward. Oracle and Adept should be able to guard this. But forces the energy, forces the defensive setup. Oracle has to go energy recharge before it heads across the map. 3rd Nexus goes down, 356. I like Dark's opening so far. I actually think he's done pretty damn well, guys. But he's got a lot of lava right now, and he needs to find a way to dump that into drones and protect those drones. 2 Queens moving to the 3rd base that is located on the natural. They are in position, and he's got a good Ring of Overlord vision as well. Great Spore Crawler. Oracle does take a bit of damage. Any paint you chip off these Oracles is going to make killing them in the future and defending them much more realistic. Remember, they only have 60 shields, and it's their hit points that is, of course, the thing that cannot regenerate. It doesn't go for the regen there. Queen's getting some good. It's beautiful Queen split. Lair. It's an early Lair. It's a Chadray Annihilator. He's going to go for the all-in. Queenling Nidus all-in. It's a classic build order here. I definitely want to see Dark drone a bit harder, though. I don't think it's fast enough for him to start massing Zerglings just yet. Build another round of drones. He's got a second guess. I mean, he could just go straight Hydras, actually. 3 Queens perfectly positioned. MAXPAX so good at threatening multiple signs at once. Behind this guy's Forge and Twilight coming in that 3rd and 4th gas, as we said. Oracle cleans up creep there. Other Oracle goes in the north. Is he going to get it? Yeah, gets himself 1 drone. Only 1, though. That's perfectly fine. And this Oracle here ain't going to find nothing. Beautiful defense here by Dark. I really feel this has been an exceptional early game, guys. Look at that! Gets big damage on the Oracle there as well. MAXPAX so active, but not finding any weakness. 3rd and 4th gateway, Blink coming in, and the 3rd base getting chronoed. Now, 11 more drones are building, which means, indeed, Dark is not going for the Nidus Worm. He's going to drop a Hydra Den the moment this lair finishes and go straight for Hydras. Evo Chambers on the way, which is awesome. I'd like to see range upgrades, and I think he will go +1 range instead of melee this time. Oh, Ling's going to come in. Good. Look at the way he splits attack to attack some of the probes. Gets himself already 1 probe, 2 probes, and an Adept. And forces some warp in some mining time. Oracle has to come back. Really well done. Dark being active, but not overcommitting. 7 more drones on the way, as well as a 4th hatchery. Dude, this is a sick early game for Dark, guys. Really well played. Really well played. I think if you call people fat, is that also justified feedback? I'd say that's one where it's usually not necessary. It depends on the situation. If you have a close friend who's very delusional and claims they're not fat while being fat, then yeah, I think telling them fat's necessary feedback. I think for most people, they do possess mirrors or go near large bodies of water or other reflective surfaces, walking through a city. You're gonna usually be aware if you're fat. So it depends if you're truly giving people information they don't know. Because of the way you adjust to certain smells, you're not going to smell yourself usually if you smell really bad because your nose adjusts to it. Whereas it's pretty rare that you have enough delusion to not realize you're fat. Most people know if they're very fat. So is telling them actually sharing new information? That's the important thing to check if it's useful criticism or just trying to make someone feel bad, guys. Hydra Ling on the way. 7 Hydras coming out. He's already got Grew Spines, but he's forgotten to make Augments, guys. Augments needs to be queued up. Dark, it's such an important upgrade. It's arguably more important than the range upgrade. He's chasing right now. Oh, whoa, Dark, sloppy. Dude, he's been really sloppy at handling stasis traps, and he's forgot Augments. Guys, I think he thinks he clicked it. Oh, no, he must have thought he clicked it. Guys, he doesn't have Augments coming in. He's trying to drone right now. He needs to keep making Zerglings. He's being too greedy against this, and there are Colossus coming in. Now, to be fair, he does need an infestation pit. Did he see it? Do you see the Robo-Bay? Where's the Robo-Bay? Robo-Bay's in the natural. He doesn't know about it, but if he goes straight Hive, he can absolutely deal with it. Muscular Augments gets remembered. Roach Speed coming in as well. That's beautiful. If he can go Roaches to tank against the Colossus, get the Augments, and go for Vipers, fast Vipers, Roach Hydra, very good against this style. Lurkers as well, of course. Exceptional against Stalker Colossus. Cool to see MAXPAX changing up. Takes a forward Nexus, so he's going to try and be pushing this base constantly. Dark tried to send his whole army around, and so far MAXPAX trading very well. But hey, one of his Stalkers gets trapped by the Zerglings. That's cute. I would love to see more counterattacks with the Zerglings for MAXPAX, you know, trying to threaten the counterattack as well. Breaking the rocks is a good idea. You can see he doesn't want to go all the way around the north of the map, but he's going to have to spread these links forward. He's just never doing it. Guys, this is really sloppy Zergling play for Dark. He hasn't set off a single stasis trap in this series. You can't be affording this level of disrespect to the stasis traps. He's chasing without more Zerglings right now as well, which is a crazy choice. He's got to pull back. Dark, what are we doing right now? Dark, way too far forward. The Colossus comes out. Crazy choice for Dark to go this far forward. He cannot be fighting into this army. He's got a Muscular Augments. It's about to kick in. He's got to run away. He's got to run away. Watch out for the stasis trap. That stasis trap could be a problem. He's losing a few extra units than he needs to. Dark being a bit too disrespectful to MAXPAX. The Hive's almost done, though. That's a quick Hive. Gets down here, takes the 8th gas. That's going to be massive. As long as he hangs on to the 4th, he should be good. He should break these rocks. Dark has a moment of rest, but if he can break the rocks, split an army in from behind, he will crush this force. But he's forgotten about those rocks, and you can see his whole army still on one control group. It's a little sloppy on the control. He's not using F2. Roaches are in the back. He's going to come forward. Another stasis trap, though. There's a field of stasis traps. If you get on top of the Colossus, that would be good. But remember, there's more stasis traps behind it. Dark's trying to jump on top, but it's a sloppy engage. I feel like Dark has such a good start. He's got a good economy, but he's not taking good fights. It's hard here on Amygdala because there's, like I said, individual lanes, which is what makes it tough as the game goes on. Dark had an excellent start, though, and we were saying that was necessary to win this game. Roaches clean up the Zealots behind, but these Colossus with the stutter step micro are just shredding the Hydras and the Lings. Dark still up 30 supply despite this, but he's down 2,000 resource and units lost. His 2 Vipers have just started. He needs to deal with this army pre-Viper. MAXPAX is so in his face. Break the rocks, split half your army from the left, and come in from both sides. But Dark is chasing one directionally into the Colossus Stalker. This is not good engagements, guys. I'm not hating right now. This is I've got to shout from the heavens. He's not flanking the army at all, and that's a problem. The Colossus micro from MAXPAX, so good. He's even focus firing the Hydras, so they're not wasting attacks on Roaches most of the time. Beautiful micro by MAXPAX. He is simply out engaging Dark right now, and Dark has thrown away 4,000 resources more of units. Dark has the correct army to deal with this. He really does. He just can't be chasing into stasis traps in one direction. His early Hydras and Lings failed to set off those stasis traps. Oh, the Viper almost goes down. First Abduct does take out a Colossus. He's got another Abduct available. Dark managed to take out a very important power unit. He can still absolutely smash this. Storm has just started, but he's got to deal with it. He's got to deal with it soon. He needs to leave a squad of Roach Hydra up north to deal with the Prism and the Zealot counterattack, and he needs the rest of his army to break these rocks, barrel through the middle, and go kill some stuff. But look at that. High Templar getting energy, lots of feedbacks available. And where's the Lurker upgrades? He hasn't, oh gosh, Dark's been under so much pressure. He hasn't made Lurker upgrades. He's only on 68 drones, which means he's basically doing a Roach Hydra Viper all in. Problem, if the feedbacks land on these Vipers, he's in trouble. He doesn't have an Overseer. He doesn't have an Overseer against a guy who's been stasis spamming him this whole time. Abduct comes in, the Colossus goes down. Zealots on the left, easily defending that Roach attack. It's all about the attack on the right. MAXPAX doesn't have many units. He's trying to pull back. Storm is not ready. The Roach Hydra coming forward. 4th Nexus will get sniped. Dark finding value here in this game. Dude, it really feels like Dark got away with murder in this early game, and he's starting to capitalize. He's got to kill the Nexus, though. He's trying to pull back. He's afraid of the Zealots and the Immortals in the north. Those Roaches are going to get hammered. Prism going into the main base as well. He's got to pull back. He knows he can't handle this. He's trying to fight on the front with an arc, but he's got to get back because that Zealot warping is deadly. Dark should not be attacking at the same time. He has to get home to defend. Defends the front, but in the rear with the gear, the Zealot's going to go after that drone line. They got to get running right now. Dark's still trying to attack at the same time, which is not going to work. There's so much army at home right now. He's got to be careful skirmishing because these guys would love to chip away at him. Dark's still up 50 supply. If he goes Lurkers, takes the 2 gases on the gold, I think he's in a great position, but he needs to, really stabilize. MAXPAX has a new 4th up. MAXPAX has a decent army, especially with Storm coming in. He's got another Storm available here as well. Another Zealot warp in would be nice. A great second Storm. Bottom right side, Roach Hydra running in as well. Dark trying to take things out, but he's not getting enough value just yet on the bottom right. On the top left, though, there we go. That's the value he was looking for. Immortals. Oh, it barely survives. on 4 hit points. The Roach Hydra clear the worker line. He's going to attack the bottom right again. Does take out the High Templar, and I think that's worth if he can kill these probes. Hold positions, kills the probes. Beautiful play there. Gets rid of almost all of those. Great damage, dude. 18 more workers going down. Mothership's about to pop, though. Dark, I'd love to see him round out his style now. Like, add 15 drones, take the 2 gases, go lurkers. You've done so much good trading. You have completely tied up the trading despite being so far behind. He abducts the prism. If he can just basically add a spire, add the lurker den, he's going into late game with a massive map control advantage. And he's got, you know, good base control and that sort of stuff. Problem, he's just not showing an inclination to do that. Dark is going to all in on Roach Hydra. I don't know, man. With energy recharge filling up these High Templar, he's got storms on both sides. He's still got one Colossus there with 23 kills. It's the north side, though. He needs everything on the north. MAXPAX not in position right now. Dark's trying to take him out. That time he splits against the stasis, but he does eat a big storm on the side. Immortal gets abducted. Oh, Vipers can't find anything. Blinding Cloud does go down. It's a pretty nice Blinding Cloud. Time Warp is effective. The Roach Hydra is going to kill the 4th again. Dark, just power overwhelming. Here come the storms from the south. Will they be able to save the day? The Hydra's pushing in. Oh, he's got the Overseer there. He dodges some of the storms. Continuing to attack up this ramp, I think, is probably not the best idea. I think Dark should be chilling out. Oh my god, 13 drones have gone down behind this. Zealots killing everything. Dark, he's just like in game 1. He's not looking at the Zealots at all. He's not dealing with the counterattacks. He's trying to just go for the win. He's not dealing with the counterattack. He runs away now. He's lost 15 drones behind this. I can't believe it. He's overcommitted. Dark was so far up in supply. He had this with the 4th base going down. MAXPAX is almost out of mining patches. But Dark loses 15 drones behind. A ton of units that were popping out, dying to the Zealots as well. And he focused too hard on the front. Dark, with a bit of that just tunnel vision on the attack on the front, which you can't afford to do against MAXPAX. Those Zealot counterattacks are just so good at pulling you away. And now MAXPAX is ahead in supply. Can you believe it? 4,000 resource swing back in favor of MAXPAX from attacking up that ramp and chasing into Time Warp, chasing into storms, chasing into the mothership. Oh my god. What in the heck, man? This game is a real seesaw where it feels like Dark's overcommitments to his attacks have found weakness and overwhelmed MAXPAX at crucial moments. But then he's followed through on his punches a bit too deep. And whenever he's gone too deep, that's where it starts turning against him. This is a wild game now. MAXPAX, 50 drones against 56, or 50 probes versus 56 drones of Dark. Dark, though, he's trying to go for kind of a base trade. He's still trying to kill MAXPAX, but MAXPAX is out on the map trying to kill him. Look at this, guys. Roach Hydra's on the other side. They're going to attack in over here. And they're going to do decent damage. He moves them in, starts cleaning up the Zealots. The Roach Hydra getting kind of overwhelmed here. Stalker's behind the worker line, trying to pick things off. The Viper barely survives. Mama's coming back. This Roach Hydra needs to get out of here. He's got to get out. Oh, it's tempting. I would probably split a few Hydras behind the worker line, try and kill a few probes to distract him. Meanwhile, Zealot's going to kill our 4th base, though. And that's our 4th base goes down. I mean, 5th base is still up on the gold for now, but another 14 workers just went down. Dark, he's doing damage, but he's also taking massive damage at the same time, and definitely want to see him turn and clean this army up right now. These 3 Stalkers should not be doing any damage. I feel like he could hunt those down, but he's worried about the mothership that's hot on his tail. New Roach Hydra counterattack hitting up north. Beautiful play if he can get rid of the 4th base. Dark still has MAXPAX in a very bad spot. Gets the High Templar there. Nicely done. He says, no energy recharge storm for you, mate. Gonna take out all the probes. Oh no! MAXPAX with a crucial mistake just when he was stabilizing in this game. MAXPAX not only loses the Nexus, he transfers 14 probes to Darks back in it to win it. Mass Storm with Mothership, 3 Archons, and 4 Immortals. This is the ball of death right now, and Archon is going to get abducted, cleans it up. Recall comes home, but I think Dark's just in an exceptional position now. He's up 60 supply, and it looks like Dark is going to force this into an okay spot. He's just got to build a hatchery. Sorry, guys. Dragging around the camera a little bit. He's got to take a... Yeah, he's rebuilding this hatchery here. I'd like to see him take the one in the north. Then just be a little careful in the next engagements. As long as he's a little careful in the next engagement or two, I think just numbers should get it done. He does need to go lurkers, right? As well, because the ground army is going to be a problem. And normally I'd say you need a Spire to deal with Mothership. I think with no Tempest, I think you can probably skip the Spire. You can't really afford it in this game. But I do think lurkers might be necessary. Remember, a lot of his supply is still roaches as well. I'm going to recall army to the front. Dude, is he... Oh, did he just recalled his own units? I think he just mishit a hotkey there, I believe. It's a lot of High Templar in here. Roach is getting ready. I like that Dark's not fighting front on, except with these Roaches, which is a mistake. Oh, Cloak comes in. Lings are in the natural. Ling's going to try and overwhelm. Roach Hydra on the front, trying to come in from two sides. Nice little Immortal Storm arc on Micro from MAXPAX, trying to fall back. Zerglings will beat the Zealots there, despite not having any upgrades other than a +1 carapace. Storm's going down really nicely on this Roach Hydra. Dude, great defense for MAXPAX with the energy recharge, the Storm, the batteries, and the Warpins. Oh my gosh, he brings the whole army back with the recall, and he just shuts this down. Whoa, that army did nothing. Like nothing. Another swing. Now 5,000 resources behind his Dark yet again in this game. And it feels like the 3-1 Roach Hydra, I thought it would do way better than that, but just pulling back behind buildings behind Storm. Dark has to GG. MAXPAX on 3, almost completely mined out bases. He has a few mineral patches and a bit of gas left. But that army with the mothership, the 34 kill Colossus, I mean, this is hard to kill. It's hard to deal with. Crazy, crazy game. There was so many points where this could have gone either way for both sides. Wow. Just wow. Yeah. I think... Did he not use the recall, by the way? I guess... Oh, he'd already used the recall. This army just ran back really fast. Oh, yeah, just got back here pretty quickly. But these guys down here did a really good defense. Yeah. With the battery healing, and then the Storms on both sides as well, and he kept falling behind the mineral line. And then the rest of the army comes up, and meanwhile these Zealots were just, they cleaned up the Zerglings with extra Warpins. He just bought enough time, and Roaches don't really do much damage, remember? There wasn't that many Hydras, so... Wow. MAXPAX, a scary game, a chaotic game, and one where I've got to wonder, before we finish, this attack up here where he broke the fourth. Surely this is where Dark should have had a better situation, right? I think it was good Blinding Cloud, you know, good usage of his Vipers. Since the Cloak was there, there was an Overseer, he used it. And Dark could see the whole army here. Is this a mistake, fighting? I mean, I think he dodged the Storms a little bit. Tries to continue forwards. I thought just run away after killing the fourth, personally. And even here, I think just run away. You got to realize at this point, Dark's down about 1,000 resources in the units lost, but he's handicapped his economy. He frenzies after the Protoss, kills a few important units, eats a massive Storm. There's a Colossus there, and he's actually kind of attacking the buildings at this point. He gets an Oracle and a few Stalkers. Yeah, this is a really bad fight. That was a terrible fight there. Really bad fight for Dark there. Very, very bad. Yeah, that was a huge turning point in this game. That was too many Hydras, because remember, like I said, even after this, he ends up winning a fight. If he just takes, like, drones up and stuff, that could be really good. Let's also check, while that was all going on, how much, you know, what happened with these Zealots exactly? Because we were watching the main fight. So I think basically 2 Zealots do an insane amount of damage. And remember, there was a few Zealots right from the start of this series that did a similar thing. Dark is tunnel visioning really hard, and these 2 Zealots are going to kill 15 drones on their own. You're kidding me. Oh my gosh. One of them even chases a Hydralisk and kills it. Oh, man. Oh, man. No way. You are kidding me. Oh, so much damage for 2 Zealots. Oh, that hurts. Dark just... Oh, man. That's a real... Yeah, he even loses 2 Hydras and 15 drones to 2 Zealots. And also throws his army away at the same time. Oh, that is a crucial... Yeah, it is as big as I thought. Huge mistake for Dark at the 13.5-minute mark. Getting that 4th base was huge value. MAXPAX army was too far split to the south. I think he only had 1 High Templar in the north. He had like 3 or 4 down the bottom. But despite getting that value, he followed it up with one of his biggest mistakes. And that's why this game was so entertaining, right? Huge play, huge mistake, huge play, huge mistake from both sides. GG, well played. All right, guys, going into game 4. And Dark, so close to winning that game, man. But MAXPAX so good with the multitasking. And we're just having a whole chat about static defense with the Twitch chat there. People saying, surely you should have built spines. The answer is no. If you're at 80 drones plus, you're maxing out. Spine crawlers become good because they don't cost supply. Until that point, they're very bad at pro level. At average Joe level, they're great because your opponent will just attack into the spines. You can have a spine crawler behind the mineral line defend 4 Zealots as they attack into it one at a time, right? But whilst, I mean, he could build a single spine crawler behind the mineral line on the 4th, and it would help defend the 2 zealots and make his life easier. A single spine I'm fine with, but don't expect it to really defend anything, because a guy like MAXPAX will either attack with enough zealots to kill the spine crawler very easily, he'll get 3-4 zealots on top of it, take it out, or he just goes and basically goes past the base. Oh, you have a spine on your 4th, I'll run into your 5th. Have a spine there, I'll run into your 3rd, I'll run into your natural. So static defense is much less efficient when you're playing a low worker count, more of an all-in style, more of a, I mean, I've got to kill you in the mid game, which is how Dark plays almost always in this matchup. You find yourself in a bit of a different scenario. Now, I love that Dark actually committed to the 15 hatchery, 15 pool this game to get his hatchery down earlier. Does delay his gas a little bit, but I think that's usually fine since MAXPAX isn't really chronoing adepts into be aggressive nearly as much as other players. Now, Dark has not counter-microed against the drone at all, so it's doing way more damage than it does versus most pro Zerg players, but that's Dark. He just doesn't care too much about optimizing his early mining. He's had one of his best mineral patches completely denied. No workers mining it. And this is one of Dark's biggest weaknesses as a player, is he just doesn't pay attention to these details, and that will lose him a lot of minerals. Thankfully, the AI automatically meant one of his drones bounced onto that patch, so at least he's getting half mining on this patch, but it is something he's going to need to fix up as this game goes on. Putting 3 workers on gas this early is definitely a bit of a wild choice. That it's going to be impossible to afford a quick 3rd hatchery and afford ling speed with how early he's mining this gas without making some concessions. Like, maybe he's only built 2 lings, which is nice, I guess. They do come out pretty early. He could run them in probably before the adept comes out since there's no chrono boost. Just click that straight into the main base to get a scout on the Stargate. Let's check this build order for Dark, guys. He's got the Overlord popping perfectly timed, pulls off gas perfectly timed. He's back on 16 on minerals. Creep tumor immediately on the natural. That's a super early creep tumor. You can even spread this because the adept's going to have to come back to deal with these Zerglings. Already 3 probes losing mining time. Great move for Dark with the Zerglings. And he can probably start sending a drone out to take a 3rd base now as well, right? Yeah, adept's going to clean up that Zergling. Zergling in the main still rotating around, just being annoying. And he now starts his 3rd queen. He's going to go for the gold, for the blue base down here. Okay, this is how Cero likes to expand on this map. Interesting. Very interesting. Always the problem with this base is if they come forward with Blink Stalkers, you know, and control the Watchtower, you can feel a bit claustrophobic, but gives you a good push path through here potentially, and definitely a big drop angle into the main base later on as well. So I think Roach Hydra drops would be a pretty decent way to play this map off of this forward hatchery. MAXPAX most likely going to expand to the north side. He's going Void Ray first. It's going to deny some scouting. Swarm Host, of course, what Cyril's used a lot on this map as well. Oracle's coming up. Void Ray misses the Overlord. No, there we go. Scoops back. Grabs the Overlord. Chunks of meat about to go flying, yeah? Second gateway in the wall. 3rd Nexus goes down at 4 minutes. So it's not a super early 3rd. It's decent. Dark building 4 Overlords at once. Can't say I'm too surprised. Does build 2 more queens and a few more drones here. Trying to go for a 6 queen opening. 6 queens is very expensive, so you can't really afford to go spores and 6 queens at the same time. Zerglings get us around on the adept, but ooh, nice snipe. Gets himself a 2nd Overlord. MAXPAX. I think he's shocked that that was left out there. That's a bit of a mistake for Dark. You know when you see a Void Ray, you got to pull all your Overlords back, but Dark left it out in the open, and it's an oversight. Does find himself an Adept snipe, but now the Adept's defending that 3rd base against the follow-up couple of Zerglings. Lairs on the way, nice and early here for Dark. He'd like to go quick Hydras again. I think the big thing that I'm looking for in this game is, can Dark deal with the stasis traps better? Because that's been such a big weakness of him in this series. 4 drones in total and a few Overlords. This early game does not feel anywhere near as good as the previous game. And we saw him struggle in that previous game despite having an amazing... I think the biggest travesty, other than, you know, the Hydra attack while losing 15 drones to 2 Zealots, it was the early game was so good, and he just got all of his Zerglings frozen. If he'd shut down the Stalker pressure, he would have had so much more creep. The Colossus never would have been as big of an issue as it was. But the Colossus Stalker got so much value because he kept headbutting into stasis traps. Like, no attempt to split his Zerglings up at all. And, you know, I say this in a very critical way. You got to realize, guys, when this patch first came out, the first week, everyone headbutted into stasis traps constantly. And we've seen an evolution since then where players are so good at deactivating them. Several's done it so many times. And it's just bizarre to see a player not have that optimization down. Now notice MAXPAX couldn't move to the south, so he's going to open this up. He's about to get supply blocked as MAXPAX. Builds a forge, desperately needs a pylon or two here. As 85 supply block is real, man. But I guess if you're shading your Glaive Adepts forward, you might find anything. Anyway, no roaches? He has no roaches. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize, guys. It's 6 minutes. Dark is on 6 queens and 15 zerglings. He's going to kill a few of these Adepts up front, but oh golly. Oh, gee whiz. Oh, he's in trouble, guys. Void Ray's going to fight the queens. Void Ray should run away. The Adepts are going to hammer this drone line. Hold position here for MAXPAX. So much damage. Adepts in the third base, forcing lost mining time as well. Grabbing a few more drones on that base. 11 workers going down as he shades into the main base. Beautiful play. Almost no mining active. Only the third base right now for Dark. Dark on the natural. Those Adepts are going to get cleaned up. The Adepts in the main starting to get cleaned up. Has he got enough units here? He's going to shade out to the third base with these Adepts, looking for more damage. MAXPAX is going Blink +1, Stalker's Robo behind it. He's up 14 workers, but his Adepts did start to get shut down. I got to say, Dark did an incredible scramble to stay on top of this. He was caught with his pants down. He had no idea that this was a Glaive Adept after the Void Ray denial, and now he's going to go Infestation Pit. One has to wonder, guys, is that a Swarm Host Infestation Pit or a Hive Infestation Pit? Dark has... He has to drone. He's 15 workers behind. I don't think tech's going to get you back in this game. I think it's economy that has to be the first order of priority. But Dark clearly has a plan for that infestation. But I don't think he has enough creep spread for Swarm Host to be viable. I think he has to play Hive into Lurkers. It's not his specialty. I think he has to do it, though. I don't think he has an option. I think you have to turtle up, grit your teeth, and try to just play this one out in the long term. 6 gases going down. Roaches push the probe off the tower, but MAXPAX reacting so well. No charge just yet. Templar Archives is there, 4th base in the north. Interesting he takes this one rather than the top left. I guess the top left is a bit more open to backstabs, and that's kind of what he's, you know, he's a bit worried about. Some lings or roaches running into the far north. MAXPAX wants to have that secured on his frontal pushing path. It is Swarm Hosts. I don't like it. I don't like it, guys. You're playing against Blink. It's much better against Charge. Maybe he thought this would be a Charge follow-up, but against after Adepts, it's always Blink. So Dark going Swarm Host right now with no Nidus Worm and no map control in the south makes no sense. This is... I'm being too harsh. He was hoping he would just catch MAXPAX a bit defensive here, being a bit overly defensive. He's not finding that, though. Zealots try to warp in, quick cancel, and he changes his mind to Adepts, realizing without charge, Adepts are the more frustrating unit for Dark to deal with when they harass his base. Nexus, okay, Hatchery does start going down as well. Chat says Dark is semi-retired because of being a dad. What? Once you have a kid, you're semi-retired? I mean, I love Dark as much as the next guy. Let's be real, guys. I don't think he's semi-retired. He's played more tournaments and won more money than any Korean in the last year of StarCraft. I love the guy, but let's not make excuses by making things up. I'm sure the kid does take away some of his practice time. Swarm Host being forced to use defensively, you never want to have to do that. Adept shading into the natural as well. Hold position could be really effective there as well. He's going to take out a bunch of drones. Drones should not be fighting this. Drones should not be fighting this. And look at this. The Roaches are back. The Swarm Hosts have expended their Locust, which means they're recharging. This allows the Stalkers to push forward. And if you are pinned defensively, Swarm Hosts are one of the worst units in the game. They're very good aggressively, but not offensively. Stalkers trying to pull back. Roaches jumping on top as well. Oracle trying to deal some damage as well. Poking in, poking out. 20 probe difference right now. MAXPAX 71. Dark only on 50. Dark is up against a wall. His supply's ahead, but it's low tier supply against a guy who has Psystorm, 4 base, Stalkers on both sides. MAXPAX realizes as long as you don't let the Swarm Host across the map, you will win these trades in the long run. Great Stalker micro. Another big stasis trap goes down in this series, and MAXPAX just has the advantage right now. Dark unable to swing with MAXPAX from this situation. MAXPAX will pull north with these Stalkers. The Roaches chasing. That Stalker needs to pull back as well. Great micro, dude. MAXPAX is countering as well. Locusts, look at that. They had to be used defensively. We all know what we think about defensive Locusts. Defensive Locusts are useless Locusts because all the opponent needs to do is run away, move around, and keep attacking somewhere else. And those Locusts are just on cooldown. 4th Hatchery goes down, and Dark impotent here. Like I said, he needed to play Roach Infester if he wanted to do something crazy. Maybe just Roach Hydra and try to get up to the Lurkers and turtle it out. but he needed enough units to really shut down the first Stalker pressure, and that was always going to be hard with how much damage he took. And the moment you go Swarm Hosts, you turn the Blink pressure into even more of a an unstoppable force, something that can, you know, get in front of your face, pick and choose where the fights happen, and slowly, methodically pick you apart. Storms and Stalkers take down the Locust. These Stalkers in the back take out almost all the Swarm Hosts. That is so deadly. There's only 5 left. They're in the south. Void Ray gets another one there, popping them. Just, it's like bubble wrap in this game. The Roaches and the Swarm Hosts. MAXPAX like a kid, discovering bubble wrap for the first time, and getting way too much efficiency. All came down to that adept timing. Really well done there. I think it hit about 6 minutes. And if we go from like maybe 5 minutes onwards in this replay, I don't think Dark had any idea this was happening. He'd already lost 2 Overlords and a few more Zerglings in the early game than he would have liked to for only a single adept. Hit one of, I think it was only 1 supply block, and it wasn't as bad as the normal Dark supply blocks, but it was still there. And I mean, I think maybe one on 74 as well. Let's take a look. He just doesn't have any vision because of the Void Ray, the Oracle doing a lot of damage. It was well hidden, man. It was a well hidden 4-gate Glaives. It's not the earliest hitting one when you open Void Ray Oracle first, but it's also hard to realize that's coming, right? His Roach Warren doesn't go down until 5:20. What a late Roach Warren. And he starts to get in control of his macro. He did hit a giant supply block on 74 as well. Very common for him. I mean, it wasn't giant. Actually, he spent most of his lava, so it's not that bad. Sees the adapts, and the Roach Warren's not even done. Yeah, he was just a bit behind from the early game, and when you're already behind from the early game as a Zerg, you're so frantically trying to recover on drones, you're very rarely ready for this sort of build. So, great opening, good pressure here for MAXPAX, and I think this just set him up to be in the advantage. Swarm Hosts, it was a huge gamble from the position he was in. If you've got creep out to here, map control, you've had a good start. The Swarm Host is a great option because you can reliably run forward, throw Locust in the base, and they pin the Protoss on the defense and get really good value. But if the Protoss has map control, Swarm Hosts become a very bad unit very quickly, and that's something that Dark just gambled on from way behind. I don't think he thought there was a good chance of making it work. He just figured, I got to do something special. I don't think turtling to Lurkers is going to work for me against a guy like MAXPAX. Threw the dice, and it unfortunately didn't come up in his favor. Great play from MAXPAX, though. Really good 3-1. And I love that he's mixing these Glaive Adept timings in. GG, well played.